Hello students. Now today I am going to teach you the first part of the chapter, the interview, written by Christopher Silvester. Let's begin. Since its invention a little over 130 years ago, the interview has become a commonplace of journalism. It's a very common thing of journalism. Today, almost everybody who is literate will have read an interview at some point in their lives. While from the other point of view, several thousand celebrities have been interviewed over the years, some of them repeatedly. Okay, some celebrities are interviewed almost every day or at least twice or thrice a week, and they become very used to it. It's so common in the celebrity world. So it is hardly surprising that opinions of the interview, of its functions, methods, and merits vary considerably, means change considerably. Some might make quite extravagant claims for it as being in the highest form a source of truth and in its practice an art. So some people make extravagant, means very high claims that interviews are something which is all about truth. Okay, it's an art. Okay, not only giving an interview an art, the taking an interview, putting forward intelligent questions to the person who is interviewed is also an art. Others, usually celebrities who see themselves as its victims, might despise the interview, means hate the interview as an unwarranted intrusion into their lives. Okay, unwarranted means unwanted entry into their lives, or feel that it somehow diminishes them. Okay, it somehow uh, destroys their privacy, it somehow diminishes their status, it somehow spoils their fame, something like that. Just as in some primitive cultures it is believed that if one takes a photographic portrait of somebody, then one is stealing the person's soul. V.S. Naipaul, just below it is written that V.S. Naipaul is a cosmopolitan writer. Cosmopolitan means famous all over the world. In his travel books and in his documentary works, he presents his impressions of the country of his ancestors, that is India. Okay, he received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 2001. So, V.S. Naipaul feels that some people are wounded by interviews and lose a part of themselves. Lewis Carroll, the creator of Alice in Wonderland, was said to have had just a horror of the interviewer, and he never consented to be interviewed. He never gave the consent to anyone to take his interview. It was his horror of being lionized which made him thus repel would-be acquaintances, interviewers, and the persistent petitioners for his autograph, and he would afterwards relate the stories of his success in silencing all such people with much satisfaction and amusement. Lionized means to be treated like a celebrity. Okay, so he was scared of being treated like a celebrity. Okay, Lewis Carroll, and thus he felt that if he becomes a celebrity, then he will create a distance between his near and dear ones. Okay, that's why he avoided the interviewers, and also he avoided those who wanted to take his autograph, because now we take selfies with celebrities, but during earlier times we used to take autographs of celebrities, and he actually didn't give anyone his autograph, and later he would relate the stories of his success in silencing those people who either wanted his interview or who wanted his um, autograph. And he felt much satisfaction and amusement in telling those stories, how he avoided them. Now, Rudyard Kipling, another famous writer, expressed an even more condemnatory attitude towards the interviewer. Condemnatory means strong disapproval, towards the interviewer. His wife, Caroline, Caroline Kipling, writes in her diary for 14th October 1892 that their day was wrecked by two reporters from Boston. Their day was spoiled by two reporters from Boston. She reports her husband as saying to the reporters, "Who do I refuse to be interviewed because it is immoral? It is a crime, just as much of a crime as an offense against any person, as an assault, and just as much merits punishment." So taking an interview from a person is kind of an assault, okay, on him, and this is something that deserves punishment. It is cowardly and vile. No respectable man would ask it, much less give it. Okay, no respectable man would ask for an interview, and obviously a respectable person should not give an interview. Yet Kipling had himself perpetrated such an assault on Mark Twain only a few years before. Perpetrated means write down, carried out, or committed. Okay, because the person who was saying all these things, Rudyard Kipling, had himself taken an interview of Mark Twain only a few years before. H. G. Wells, in an interview in 1894, referred to the interviewing ordeal. Okay, ordeal means prolonged unpleasant experience. Prolonged unpleasant experience. But was a fairly frequent interviewee, and 40 years later found himself interviewing Joseph Stalin. Saul Bellow, who has consented to be interviewed on several occasions, nevertheless once described interviews as being like thumbprints on his windpipe. Yet, despite the drawbacks of the interview, it is a supremely serviceable medium of communication. These days, more than at any other time, our most vivid impressions of our contemporaries are through interviews. Means we come to know closely the celebrities or other respectable people through interviews only. Dennis Bryan has written, "Almost everything of moments reaches us through one man asking questions and another." Means details of a person's life is revealed, okay, from the question answers put forward before a person. Because of this, the interviewer holds a position of unprecedented power and influence. Okay, the interviewer holds the position of unprecedented power and influence. Interviewer means the person who takes an interview, and interviewee means the person who gives an interview. So I hope that you have understood part one. This much for today. Goodbye.